So, hello to anyone who's listening. I'm Jess. I'm one of the producers for Tell, and today I'm joined by Nathan from Smallkid Design, and they are based in the Midlands in Nottingham, and have been operating for 19 years now. So, Nathan, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Morning. Thanks for having me on. Much appreciated. Nathan, and I run a sort of street art and graffiti business in Nottingham under the name Smallkid Design, and then I also produce sort of artwork under my own name, which is Kid 30.
Sweet, very nice. So I've read on your website that your work has kind of made its way to Melbourne, Toronto, and Barcelona. So how did that come about with getting your work kind of overseas?
I think, well, some commercial stuff we've worked abroad on, or there's another company sometimes I work for, and then they'll travel abroad, and then I'll work for them. And then if I'm on holiday, I'll paint. Yeah, I try and get around as much as I can for my own artwork. So I think my site's not that up to date. I think maybe Toronto was someone's wedding, and Barcelona was for holidays and stuff. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to have my work in a few shows around the world. So yeah, sometimes it's just a case of people asking for you to submit work, or being entries for work, or again, if it's a street graffiti, it's usually for holidays.
Beautiful, nice. So, in your experience of traveling, where's kind of your favourite sort of places to end up in?
I haven't travelled for a long time recently. I've got a 6-year-old, but I used to go to Barcelona a lot, especially when it was the sort of had quite a big graffiti movement. Amsterdam is good for painting. There's always paint spots if you go somewhere. Last place we went was Canada, but we went when it was -10, so we did paint, but it was pretty cold.
Yeah, I can imagine. Crumbs. So, just regarding kind of Smallkid as a company, how did it start, and how did it sort of develop to where it is now? What was sort of the process of getting it on its feet?
I used to work I started working in a printers doing all screen printing. And then I worked in a design agency doing the graphics. And during that time, I sort of started doing the rave flyers for a friend that was setting up a rave company at the same time. And then that sort of, by the time, and then I basically used to work all the evenings doing these flyers. And then eventually I built enough clients up to sort of leave. And that was the sort of start of it. When there was a big print industry, it doesn't exist really now, where you sort of print, 10,000 flyers for a rave, that sort of thing. And then I started doing that, and then alongside that, I started running youth workshops and youth commissions, kind of graffiti workshops and street art workshops, and that kind of sort of then kind of led into more commercial painting. I mean, 20 years ago, it was very different to what the landscape is now for sort of street art and graffiti. But so more kind of do the workshops to collect the paint to then paint your own things. There was less commercial stuff, but it was kind of little bits of commercial stuff alongside the graphics. And then over the years, it's sort of the graphics have dropped out where the print markets sort of died, and then the workshops with conservative being where they are, way less funding for all of those, and then sort of softly over time the commercial stuff just taken over really. That's it.
Oh, lovely. Right. So, what has been sort of your favourite job to work on? Is there one that kind of sticks out in your memory?
Yeah, I painted like a collective called Oxygen Thieves, and we used to do all Glastonbury Festival. And there was one year, can't remember what year it was, but that was probably maybe the highlight of the work. We built a big totem pole, like a 3D totem pole, and then we sort of lived there for a couple of weeks, sort of before the festival and after the festival, and mainly mucked around and painted things we shouldn't for 2 weeks. So that was kind of probably the most fun. And it was just sort of a time when none of us had any kids. We were all a bit more freer than we are now, and so that's probably the biggest memory.
So did you get to see much of Glastonbury when you were there? Like, did you get to get out in the festival?
Yeah, we did see bits and bobs of it. Yeah, to be fair, the festival's kind of better when there isn't loads of people there, and we all had little push bikes, and you could ride around. And then because all the creatives are there, there's like all the different set designers, and then all those people will meet up. So I think by the time the actual festival had come on, I think we were a bit partied out, to be fair. So, but yeah, we did see a load of stuff. Yeah, I think it was the year that Stevie Wonder played, actually. So.
Oh, what dream! What a good year for Glastonbury. Oh god. So in terms of kind of design as a whole, what do you think is kind of a good way for people who are new to design to sort of get into it? Where would you recommend people start? Not necessarily young people, but just anyone who is new.
What the kind of more kind of mural painting side of things? Yeah, I think definitely paint for yourself, and like if you've not done it before, don't go and sort of try and get a massive bar to paint. Try and sort of maybe paint your friends' bathrooms or be used to the different materials. Um, Definitely paint some stuff in your garden, and then try and paint your own sort of art. There's for your own graffiti or street art. There's loads of places nowadays where you can sort of paint that without any issues that are kind of legal or tolerated. Just to kind of learn the sort of materials and that kind of thing of it. And then yeah, and then knock on, sort friends' businesses, little shop, places where maybe there was some painting but it's flaked off, and then sort of for me, I think having the sort of design side of things has massively helped when you can kind of design things and show clients sort of what they're going to get instead of showing them a drawing, with a pencil. You can sort of actually mock the thing up on Photoshop or Illustrator. So the computer is useful as well. Um, yeah, and then wing it. The rest of it.
Wing it, perfect. So, what are sort of some of your hopes for where the industry is going? We've got all this new talent, and where are you sort of hoping that it'll end up, and what do you want to see more of?
Oh, what? Where the? I mean, at the moment we're in Nottingham, for example, and every city's different. We've had a councillor called John Collins, and he's been really anti street art and graffiti, and so it's meant that things haven't maybe progressed as fast as some cities, like say Bristol, Leicester, London, where they kind of allow these big murals. But there's been a sort of a change in. Well, he's left now, and there's been a sort of change in heart. So a lot more opportunities are hoping to sort of pop up where the council are more acceptance of kind of like say, like legal graffiti spots and bigger commissions. So locally, I hope that it will, make Nottingham a little bit more on the sort of map for it. And then nationally and globally, I mean, I don't know where it will go. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to just get bigger and bigger. So I hope it doesn't get as, yeah, it's quite commercial now in some places. I hope it kind of, I think it always will keep sort of a bit true to its sort of underground nature. But yeah, yeah.
Perfect. I mean, Nottingham is the perfect city for it as well. I love Nottingham. I'm a Midlands girl. I'd move to Nottingham in a heartbeat. I think it's great. It's my favourite city in the Midlands. It is a shame that there's not more street art going around because there's just so many just places in Nottingham where like it's perfect. It's a perfect kind of city for it, really. So it is a shame, but there you go. So, how did you sort of get into it? Did you go to college for any kind of training, or was it kind of teaching yourself?
I went to, yeah, I did a foundation in art and design, and then I did a degree in illustration, and then I self-taught graphics, um, and then the kind of street stuff. We're doing these rave flyers, put a lot of kind of referenced images on them, and then people kind of thought that I was involved in it, and then I kind of met a few people, and then I got schooled by one other artist called Creed, and he sort of took me out and said, "This is what you do, and this is what you don't do." And then I just sort of, just painted with loads of different people and kind of learned them really. So you can't go and do a degree in it. You can do a degree in art, but or design, but not really kind of stuff.
Yeah. So is it one of those things that you can't really teach?
Well, you can't teach it in a mainstream setting, but you. I mean, it's relatively easy to learn. It's like a lot to do with it is like learning how to use the sort of cans, and it's a bit like kind of skateboarding where you can't just get on a skateboard straight away and do loads of tricks. It takes quite a long time to sort of learn the craft of it, which I think kind of keeps it, a bit of a mystery to it, and you do have to work on your sort of, and ultimately it's about sort of style. So you have to sort of work and develop your own style, and I mean that's something that I would, I'm still learning, but yeah, you can get taught the basics, no problem. But then to find your own thing in it, you've got to kind of do that on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had a look on your website, some of your previous work, and you've got this kind of like cartoony sort of style. How did you kind of settle on that? Like, how did that come about?
I had a kid 6 years ago, and
Right.
before pre Arthur, I used to spend a lot longer painting things, and I still wanted to paint alongside obviously having a kid. So it meant I just had to reduce my time actually being able to be out of the house considerably down. Um, so I just kind of got into hacking and cutting characters sort of at home, and then go and paint those. So I don't think I've settled on that thing. I kind of did it as I thought, I'll do an exhibition, and I'll probably maybe work on that sort of stuff for a couple of years. And that's been about near 6 years now. So I am trying to produce other work that's moving away from that a little bit, but I kind of find it quite fun and easy. And then I've kind of caught myself in a little bit of a trap now where people, if I'm booked to paint at a festival or a jam or something, I think that they would expect me to come and paint those kind of characters. Um, so hopefully I've not settled on it. We'll see where it goes. But
No, no. I mean, I was looking at it, and my personal favourite is the pumpkin patch characters, the big spider, and that. I thought they were great.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were mint.
So that's like yes, that's the more kind of that's the commercial side of things. Yeah, that's just like a kind of that thing, like a job like that. We just make it up. Or I turned up, and then the bloke who grows all these pumpkins, he sort of said, "Oh, this is roughly what my ideas are," and then I'll draw a little kind of load of monsters, and that's sort of a bit more of a freehand sort of style. But yeah, that was good, and I got a free pumpkin. That was good.
Oh, free pumpkin, perfect. All you can ask for. Beautiful. So, where are you hoping that you will be in the next 5 years? So, you've kind of told us what you hope happens going forward, but kind of where do you see yourself more generally? Think big.
Yeah, think big. I don't know really. I mean, every time I've kind of planned to do something, so I've sort of said, "All right, I'm going to concentrate on festival jobs, or I'm going to concentrate on bar work." It's never really gone in that direction. So commercially, it organically moves. So I do hope that kind of I've got some ambitions, and I do want to start kind of getting some like slightly bigger walls produced for my own work. And then again, I'd like to see more stuff in Nottingham happen over and I think that's going to start happening hopefully. So quite like to have some involvement in that. Then hopefully managing to still make money from my art, and um, that's the least I can ask for. But I suppose a bit more travelling now after lockdown. Um, maybe a bit more of
Yeah,
my work
absolutely.
and less.
So if you could pick, where would you go with it? If you could pick anywhere in the world and say, "Oh, I will get paid here," where would you want to go?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, again, like Amsterdam, places like that. It's more about the actual wall that I'd pick than like the location. I'd definitely go for a kind of, with my characters, they're sort of much more portrait than landscape, and which is limiting on the size of the walls you can acquire. So some, just some mega, like on the side of a mega building would be the ultimate dream, I think. So I don't know, New York, if we're gonna think big. I don't know.
Why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah, speak it into
Yeah.
existence. We'll make it happen somehow. So, if you could have anyone at your dinner table and you get 3 guests, dead or alive, who would you pick?
Oh, blimey.
It's hard, isn't it? That is a hard one.
I thought about it a lot, and then I wrote a few down, and I've forgotten who I'd put down. Well, I'd probably pick. Let's have a think. Dead or alive? I'll have Salvador
Yeah, dead or
Dali as one
alive.
of them. I'll have Salvador Dali just because I think he's probably absolutely nuts. In fact, I'll probably have all painters, but I'll stick Picasso in there as well. And Roots Maneuver, so he could do some of the music. Yeah,
Good shout.
Picasso,
Good shout.
Salvador, and Roots Maneuver, that'll do.
Beautiful. I mean, my answer to any kind of, if you could go back, I'm always like Freddie Mercury. Like, if you could go back, what's the one people always ask?
Right.
If you could go back to anywhere in history, where would you go? I always say Live Aid. I would be front row Live Aid. That's
Yeah.
always my answer. I just think
Yeah.
he'd be absolutely fascinating to interview. But yeah.
Yeah, he would.
So, who would play you in a film about your life? This is my favourite question out of all of them.
Danny DeVito, I think. Just because.
So far in the cast of the Tell Talks podcast, we've got Emilia Clarke, Tom Hardy, Felicity Jones, and Danny DeVito. So I don't know what kind of film this is sort of shaping up to be, but that's who we've got so far. Oh God!
I think out of the packet, I've probably got a similar body to him.
I mean, he is pretty. That's not a bad choice because he's pretty well loved across pretty much everywhere. Pretty unproblematic guy. So I'd take that. That's not a bad shout. Not at all. So, in an apocalypse, where are you heading first? We're getting to all the interesting questions now.
Right, yeah. So obviously, with what's been going on, I have thought about that. Yeah, I don't have a basement at home, but I do have a basement in the studio here. So possibly here. Otherwise, under my stairs, I reckon.
For the whole apocalypse?
Or maybe. What's that?
For the whole apocalypse, under your stairs?
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to get out and about, aren't you? So would I pick anywhere? I'd go in some.
Yeah, well, I always say supermarket is a good shout, but then supermarkets tend to have massive windows, so probably not. Somewhere high up, I imagine.
A supermarket, bad choice because everybody will go to the supermarket.
True.
So you're constantly getting people going there. A prison, then you could just lock yourself in.
True, but then you're locked in the prison with everyone that's already in there, and do you want to put yourself in that position?
No, but I'd get there first and then let them out because it was an apocalypse. They'd all run out and then I'd get in.
True, good shout, good shout. I always think back to that film. Everyone thought the world was going to end. When did the Mayan calendar end? Was it 2012? Was it 2012? Yeah. When they made that film about it, and everyone that lived in like the highest mountains in really like mountainous countries survived. So I just think you just have to find a mountain and hedge your bets. But who knows?
With a supermarket and a prison.
Yeah, ideally, yeah. But who knows? Who knows? We'll busk it when we get to that situation, hopefully.
Yeah.
So we'll start to think about kind of winding up, but are there any projects that you want to plug to everyone that's listening?
My has been hacked last week, so I'm kind of off social media or off Instagram. So, but still painting. So if you want to see my stuff, you've kind of got to go and actually have a look for it now. So I won't put it online for a while. Things that I'm plugging. I've got an exhibition hopefully coming up in about 3 or 4 months. But I don't know where you'll be able to see that. Well, you better see it on my website. And then painting quite a few bits in Hockley over the next couple of weeks, just for fun. So if you're in the Hockley area or Nottingham, you can check those out. And then recent commercial thing which we've just done is we've just done at the bottom of Listergate, which is by Broadmarsh, which is sort of 7 shops, and we've sort of painted on the inside all the windows of those. So if you pass in there, you can check that out.
So in Hockley, is it that bit where they all go to skate, that big flat part?
Oh, that's Snenter Market. Yeah, there is painting at Snenter Market, but Hockley's just if you're walking from Snenter Market to town. Yeah, so where where the Angel is, pubs like that.
Because my brother used to live in Hockley, and we used to park at his and walk into town, and we'd always, every time we went, because there's always new sort of graffiti around that area, where it's always really windy, but it's where everyone goes to skateboard because it's this massive. For anyone that doesn't know Nottingham, it's this massive like tiled area that has like a slight incline, so it's pretty perfect for skateboarding. And there's always new graffiti there, and it's cool to see. We always really enjoyed seeing it. And then they painted it white. So, is there graffiti there still?
Well, they've just knocked down a load of the boards, but there's a lot of hoardings, that have been put up that have all been painted. So there's plenty to see if you're wandering around. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because when I saw they'd been painted white, I was like, oh no, like it's such a shame. But yeah, hopefully that keeps going. So, how can people? What's the best way to contact you if folks want to get in touch?
Probably through my website, which is www.smallkid.co.uk. I am on Facebook under Smallkid, but I'll probably start putting more stuff up on my website now. I'm not on Instagram, and then Instagram, once I've gone cold turkey and got off it, then I might get back on that again, but we'll see.
Absolutely, lovely. Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast with us this week.
Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It was lovely to speak to you. So, anyone that's listening, thank you very much, and bye for now.
Nice one. Take care.